asked this question a lot. What is Redesign Your Thinking LLC, which is my startup corporation? And because it's so unusual and because it's so complicated and so complex, I think the best way of doing this is just to give you a little podcast of it. So Redesign Your Thinking is a mindset change company that says value is the weight of importance we put on a person, place, thing, or idea. So if we change the perspective of whatever that thing is being appraised, we can instantly elevate its value. That's the heart and soul of Redesign Your Thinking. It's a perspective changing company. But it's more than that. It's also revolutionizing the way we do things. So the website itself serves as a prototype of globalization for the good, where someone who has a corrupt government can use this sort of system, a free web-based system, that they can put their entire message about their culture. They can turn themselves into a corporate lobbyist by taking that startup corporation approach. Turn themselves into a corporate lobbyist, a pro bono corporate lobbyist, where their company, the products and services of their company, would pay for the revenue of the company. They would be able to do that service for free, and then the revenue of that company would then pay that person as a CEO or as an employee of something else as another part of that company. So it would be a double type thing. But the company would end up paying that person. And then the company would take their taxes and turn it into things for Africa. And I like using Africa because I have a friend in Africa who I really want to help. They take that money, they take those taxes, and then they turn it into something good for their community. They turn it into schools, they turn it into hospitals, they turn it into the things they need. And they can bypass their corrupt government altogether. They can bypass the people that claim to be there with their big organizations who don't really look in their direction at all, especially the religious organizations that are there. They can bypass all that. You don't have to worry about the money going through any kind of corrupt government because they are being supported by the people of the entire world. If their message is on the products are then sold to the people. The people then support that message in the entire community directly, and no more corrupt government. That's the prototype of the company. And that's what I did for myself. I turned myself into a pro bono corporate lobbyist for the world's exploited, the 99% in America, especially the ones who are the exploited workers, the ones who can't get seen past the stereotype. And kids, all living kids, all over the world. You know, we talk a lot about unborn babies, but we don't seem to have anybody having the backs of the kids, the little kids who can't speak for themselves. I'm all about being that person, that champion for the ones who can't speak for themselves. And so where you have those kind of needs, whether it's a mental health group who are being exploited as criminals, that's where you're going to find me speaking up. Any group that is being exploited or taken advantage of or has these situations, that's where you're going to be seeing me the most. And I use social media and I use these kind of platforms because I'm tired of trying to get attention of government leaders and, you know, doing the whole phone calls and even trying to meet them in person and all that kind of crap because I get brushed off, or I did as an advocate. So I took that idea of a CEO, which elevated me to a very top title, and a corporate lobbyist, and I take my lobbying and do it right in front of everybody, right in front of Twitter, right there where everybody can see it, so they can't brush me off anymore. I bring the issues forward right there on their social media pages, and I demand the answers and I ask the questions after doing extensive amount of research. So that's the idea of redesign your thinking. So that's one concept of it. I've also turned it into, and I call it different things. It's basically an intellectual revolution of rule of law and common sense. And I might refer to it as a shadow revolution because a lot of times I just have a lot of misfits. You know, all of us who are outcasts who just don't fit in. Maybe because we're intellectuals and, you know, we don't fit in, or we're artists and we don't fit in, or whatever it is. It's like, for whatever reason, people just don't understand us. That's the motley crew that you're going to find me hanging out with on Twitter. And it's a very weird collection of us. So my company, it's an actual startup corporation. It's an LLC. It's a limited liability corporation. So you can go on my website, redesignyourthinking.blog. And then, I don't know, right now I just need people to pay for my services or, you know, buy my products. I don't have a lot of products. I want to be able to hire artists. I don't have a really big trust of investors. because I got screwed over my last career with investors, and so that trust is not there. And trying to find an investor who is willing to look at long term, because everything I do is looking at long term growth. The idea, if you invest in kids today, you'll reap the long term benefits of it in the future whenever they're adults. Everything I do is long term, and investors seem to want that short term gain. So it's hard to find this, an investor out there who's like, I'm okay with waiting and seeing what this progression is going to create, because it's going to be great wealth and benefits for people later on. It's just we have to do the work now. We have to come together now, and that's the theme of the revolution. Is we're far greater working together than the sum of our individual parts, or 99% is far greater than 1% when we work together on a shared goal.